Assalamu alaikum. Welcome my dear students, 9th grade again to your English classes with your teacher Dani Hassan. In this video we're going to have listening and vocabulary lesson in your student book page 88 and workbook page 79. Our objectives: number 1, listen to students, giving presentations and learn verbs to talk about energy issues. You need to open your student book page 88. The title for our lesson is A Class Presentation. Let's start with the first exercise. Work with a partner. Look at the picture of a living room and say how the room is similar to and different from the living room in your home. So you have to pause the video, think of answer for this question, then resume the video when you're ready. Now we have to move to the next exercise. The living room is an exhibit in a museum. Listen to 3 students talking about the house. What do they talk about? So you're going to listen to conversation between students. Then we'll answer, what do they talk about? Do they talk about heating homes in the past, changing technology at home, or energy at home? Please listen carefully.
CD 2, Track 39. Listen to the class presentation.
So after our visit to the Eco House last week, which I hope you all enjoyed, I asked you to prepare some presentations. What did you learn from the visit? So Group A, Rebecca, tell us about the purpose of the house. Why was the Eco House built?
Well, the Eco House was designed by the museum as an example of a typical family home. It was built in 1985. And several changes were made to the house in the last 30 years as fashions and technology change. The house is used to show people how we live and how the way we live affects the environment. So they showed us how much energy is consumed in the house by different things, like the computers, the lights, and the heating. For example, when a computer is left on standby, it still uses energy, although we think we've switched it off. They explained to us that a lot of energy is wasted when we leave things on standby. They also talked about the different experiments they've done.
Okay, thanks Rebecca. Group B, David, tell us about the experiments they did.
Well, the main thing they told us was about how to save energy with the correct use of different things in the house. The things that use the most energy are the heating and air conditioning. So they showed us an experiment. One day, the temperature was set at 23 degrees centigrade, and the next day, they turned it down to 19 degrees. They wore extra clothes to keep warm, but they said it was okay. The difference in the temperature was small, but the difference in the energy was enormous.
Was a lot of energy saved by reducing the temperature in the house?
Yes, it was. About 25% of energy was saved by reducing the temperature by just 4 degrees.
Okay, thanks David. So does anyone want to add anything to the discussion?
Yes. They didn't talk about recycling much. A lot of rubbish wasn't recycled in the 1980s. What effect does recycling plastic bags or using less paper have on the house?
Okay, let's discuss recycling. Does anyone want to begin?
So after listening to the conversation or to the presentation, the answer is they talk about energy at home. Now let's move to the last exercise. We have to answer these questions. Number 1, how long has the Eco House been open? The answer is since 1985. Number 2, what does the museum use the Eco House for? to show people how we live and how the way we live affects the environment. Number 3, what does Rebecca say about computers? When a computer is left on standby, it still uses energy. Number 4, what uses the most energy? Heating and air conditioning. Number 5, what did the experiment show? About 25% of energy was saved by reducing the temperature by just 4 degrees. The last question is, what does the last student want to discuss about the house? So she wants to discuss about recycling. Now let's move to the next heading, which is energy issues. Here we have to match the verbs from the class presentation with the definitions from 1 to 7. Let's start with the first one, to use energy, which is mean consume. Number 2, to stop energy being wasted, which is mean save energy. Next one, to use more energy than you need, which is mean waste. Number 4, to make something smaller, means reduce. Number 5, to leave an appliance connected to the electricity, which is mean leave on standby. Number 6, to disconnect an appliance from the electricity, which is mean switch off. Finally, you use less energy by doing this with an appliance, which is mean turn down. Finally, we have to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in exercise number 4, then listen and check. Here we have an example. Don't forget to switch off the lights before you go to bed. What about number 2? Can you turn down the heating? It's really warm. Number 3, you shouldn't leave the TV on the standby or on standby at night. Number 4, did you know your computer consumes a lot of electricity? Number 5, it's better to have a shower than a bath because you don't waste so much water. Number 6, you should try to reduce the number of hours you use the air conditioning. Number 7, the last one, we're trying to save energy, so I always switch off my computer when I'm not using it. Now please move quickly to your workbook, page 79. Let's start with the first exercise. Listen to a radio program called Everyday Problems. What can you do with your old gadgets? What should you do never? Please listen carefully, try to answer these questions.
Track 8. Listen and answer.
Good morning and welcome to Everyday Problems with me, Monica Green. My topic today is something we are often asked about, electronics. Nowadays, homes are full of gadgets like games consoles, computers, MP3 players and tablets. But the problem is that they don't last long, and new, better, faster versions of these machines are in the shops every year. So in most homes, our old ones are abandoned or forgotten. What should we do with them? Gadgets fall into two basic categories: stuff that still works and stuff that doesn't work. So let's look at what you can do. First, stuff that works.
I hate it when I throw something in the bin that still works perfectly. But these days there are lots of websites where you can sell your unwanted gadgets. Don't assume that if you don't want them, no one else will. And it's surprising how much people will pay too. Another possibility is to give them to charity. Some charities operate in developing countries, so your old electronics are distributed in parts of Africa or South America. Second, stuff that doesn't work. One thing I've discovered is that colleges and universities often need electronics that don't work. This equipment is taken to pieces by the students, who then learn how to put it back together so it works again. Some charities are also pleased to accept gadgets. They are either repaired or sold, or if that isn't possible, they are recycled. Electronics contain plastic, glass, and a variety of metals. Some are valuable, like copper and gold. Nowadays, recycling is big business. There are a lot of companies which specialize in recycling electronics, and they buy direct from the public too. The one thing you must never do, of course, is throw away your old gadgets. If you do, they can cause serious pollution and damage the environment. But there's no need to waste things. You can reduce the rubbish in your cupboards and do something useful with it. As always, look on our website for a list of organizations you can sell or give electronics to.
So after listening, you have to answer that you can sell them or give them away so that other people can use them. You should never or give them away for people to use the parts and recycle. You should never throw them away. Now we have to complete these sentences. Number 1, most homes have got things they don't want, like games, consoles, computers, MP3 players, and tablets. Number 2, often it's because we buy new, better, faster versions. Number 3, Monica says there are 2 categories: things that work and things that don't work. Number 4, for the first category, the options are sell them online or give them to charity. You have to complete the rest as homework. In exercise number 3, we have to circle the correct options. My dad says we need to turn or to reduce. So to reduce the gas, if you want to pay less, you have to consume less electricity. We're trying to consume or save money. We have to save money by turning down the water temperature in the shower. You have to complete number 5, 4, 5, and 6. The last exercise here, we have to complete the advice with words from exercise 3. Number 1, always switch off the lights when you leave a room or before you go out. Number 2, don't leave your electronic devices on standby when you go to sleep. All those little red or green lights consume more energy. Number 4, don't waste water. Have shorter showers, and when you brush your teeth, don't use water until the end. 5, reduce how much meat you eat by going vegetarian 1 day a week. You have to complete number 6 and 7 as the same way. That's all in our class, my students. The deadline for your homework, as usual, is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Next time, please prepare your next lesson, which is Language Focus 2, Past Simple Passive. See you next time. Goodbye.